everybody. It's Chris Eads, and online is Wootini here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. This week I went to the movies and I saw The Creator, which I had been looking forward to. I thought the trailer looked really good, and I saw it like a gajillion times, so, you know, thankfully it wasn't too spoilery as it turns out, because I didn't look away. I actually watched the trailer. I liked it. It's a story of, you know, humans versus AI. The script it's very straightforward. It's very obvious. There's not a lot of nuance to it. It's very much like, I realized afterwards, it's very much like the James Cameron's Avatar movies. And if James Cameron had directed this, it would have been exactly like that, where it's like, you know, bad humans, good Na'vi, and here it's bad humans, good AI robots, you know, and you're like, okay, we get it. Like, it's not subtle. There's no real nuance to it. But I will say that while there are a lot of cliche tropes and it's a lot of obvious stuff, there are a few twists and turns here. And there's one twist that's not a twist, and you figured it out way long ago, but whatever. There's enough like interesting choices made as the plot unfolds that you're like, it's not completely boring. And there's a lot of great performances that do help elevate the rather basic script. But really, it's sold on the visuals. The visuals of this movie are stunning. And they're even more impressive now that I've read that he apparently shot it like guerrilla style in like Tibet and Thailand and whatever, and then like added in the CG stuff later. And the budget was like $80 million. Like, it didn't even cost $100 million. And it looks as good, if not better, than like these $300 million Marvel movies. It feels very real. The world feels very lived in and real. And I think that he did a great job. It helps sell the story. And I liked it. It's not as good as it probably should have been. Like, everyone's touting it as like, this sci-fi spectacular, it's so brilliant, the best sci-fi movie of the year. And I'm like, well, yeah, because there really hasn't really been any. So yeah, by default. But it is good. I just wish they had been better, because I wish the story had lived up to these amazing visuals that he created. But what are you going to do? I recommend it. I did actually make the point of going to the Lincoln Square AMC so that I could see it on big IMAX screen, though I was disappointed that it wasn't like IMAX aspect ratio, like it wasn't a big screen. It was very widescreen. It was very, you know, it was like a 235, so it didn't really fill the IMAX screen, so it was kind of like, meh. But it was the biggest screen I could see it on, so I wanted to do that. But yeah, that was good. So if you're into sci-fi, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. As for games, I am still playing Sea of Stars, and I am still enjoying it. I have not encountered any more roadblocks, no more difficult boss battles that stall my progress. Although I was exploring this area, and then I went in and I saw my nemesis, a sliding puzzle. And I was so upset. I was like, oh, god damn it. Now I'm going to be stuck here for like an hour moving these frickin' slide pieces around until I can make the picture. Like, I hate them. They're the bane of my existence. They drive me insane. And I hate them when they show up in like Professor Layton games, because it always slows me down because it takes me forever to finish them. But after angrily tweeting about, oh no, my nemesis, I went back to the game and suddenly realized there was no blank space. How am I supposed to move these tiles around? It's not a sliding tile puzzle. It was something much easier and kind of disappointingly easy. I was like, so that was fine. Although I am in an area now where there are some puzzles that you must solve, like environmental puzzles, like putting this here and putting that there to move this here and do that and open this door and whatever, so that you can progress to the next area. And those are kind of nice, because it's like, they're not like super hard, but they take just enough thought that you're like, okay. And then you feel smart for getting it. I like that. Not too hard, but just enough to make you feel smart. But I have one minor complaint so far. Early in the game, you receive the ability to travel around the world of the game. However, as you explore, it's not an open world game. You're not meant to just explore everywhere. It's still very linear. But as you explore, like you'll find, because I explore every nook and cranny if I can, when I see an extra, oh, what's that cave? Can I get in there? And then you'll get like an extra bonus item or something. And at one point I found a key, and I was like, oh, this unlocks that room that I couldn't get into from the beginning of the game. So I'm like, well, I gotta go see what it is. I mean, you don't have to. It's purely optional. But I mean, how can you find a key that you know what it unlocks and not go unlock it? I mean, come on. So I had to go all the way back there, and you had to travel all the way back to that area, and then you could only go to one specific place, and then from there you had to travel and backtrack all the way to that room. And it's tedious, and there's no fast travel to make it easier. So backtracking is kind of annoying. So I haven't really done a whole lot of it. It was just like that time where I was like, I'm going here because I want to do this. And then there was another time where I was like, well, I can do this now, so I'm going to go and do that. But it's keeping me from probably doing a lot of extra stuff because it's not as easy to move around the world as it is if there's fast travel. Also in that room was, I think there was like a piece of armor that was good. And then there was this like plaque with all these weird runes on it. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, am I supposed to decipher this? Is this a clue to something? Like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. So I just quickly Googled, and it turns out it's part of the whole Kickstarter thing, because this game had a Kickstarter, and I did not know it when I bought it that it was a Kickstarter game. And then that's also, there's another area with all these monuments, and that's for the Kickstarter backers. If you backed the game, you got a monument. And I guess depending on how much you spent, you get a bigger monument. But it's like, oh, okay, so I don't have to worry about that. There are certain areas of the game that are currently inaccessible to me. So I am thinking that there is an additional mode of transportation that might be coming later. I do feel like I'm close to the end, but not quite at it. Like I'm at this one area that is like, clearly they're like, this is the big grand finale, and I'm like, no, it is not. I can clearly tell that this is not the grand finale and that this is a fake out and there's still more to go, but whatever. So I'm hoping that eventually I unlock that additional travel, because I do want to make sure that I've explored everything before I go to the end game. I want all the bonus stuff. I need to get as many bonus powers and weapons and armor and abilities as I possibly can to make the ending doable. Because I do want to finish this. I need to finish this by the 20th, and I think I will. I mean, I have like, a couple of weeks left. A few, actually. So, because I need it done by Spider-Man time, because I'm all excited for Spider-Man. And no, I know I said this last episode, but I do not have a new plan for Spider-Man. I am still planning on buying it online. Although, when I went online just to see, I saw that they have this, there's like the deluxe version for an extra $10, and I'm like, no thank you. I don't care about extra costumes or like bonus skill points or, whatever. But then I saw it has additional photo mode options, and I was like, wait, what? Although I am pretty sure that additional photo mode items is just more like stickers and frames, because the previous Spider-Man games, they have all these fun frames and stickers to make it look like a comic book or whatever, and those are really fun. All I need are the basic photo, and the Spider-Man games have a great photo mode with like amazing camera control and amazing lighting controls. So like that's all fine. Maybe there's like some filters, but I don't care because I don't use filters very often. I would be annoyed if it was like additional like poses and facial expressions, because I like to use those sometimes. But I'm pretty sure that whatever the extra photo mode stuff is, it's not going to be worth $10 for me. I'm going standard. And speaking of Sony, I'm sure you've heard there was that they got hacked, And a friend of mine sent me this TikTok from some guy in his basement, like ranting about how everyone's been hacked and you have to cancel your credit cards and it's horrible and everyone's data was stolen and we're all gonna die. And I was like, what? And I'm like, no, that was like a day or two ago. And there's been no email from Sony like saying, hey, apologies, we got hacked, your information might be taken, so this is what you need to do to secure your information. There was nothing. Sony never said anything to us. So I'm like, well, if Sony's not saying anything, how bad could it really be? And sure enough, I looked it up. And like the Kotaku article was like, yeah, they got hacked and some information was stolen, but it didn't seem to be that important. And it's not like everyone's credit cards are exposed and everything. So I was like, okay, that's why Sony hasn't said anything, because it isn't that bad. And that TikTok guy was just being all like over dramatic so he could get more views. Should have thought of that at the time, because I was like, dude, I am not canceling my credit card. Like, that is such a pain in the ass. Like, it's not a pain in the ass to cancel your credit card. You just cancel it and they send you a new one. It's like, okay, fine. But then comes the trying to remember everywhere that you use that credit card, like Amazon and Netflix, other streaming services and restaurants and stores and whatever. Everywhere that credit card is stored. Because otherwise, you're in for like an entire month full of emails saying, hi, we tried to charge your credit card and it didn't go through. Please click here and fix that. And it's like, oh, forgot about that one, you know? So, I mean, I am going to keep an eye on my credit card statement just in case, but I always check my credit card statement. So if anything weird shows up, I'll deal with it then. Otherwise, whatever. I don't need that hassle. I got enough to deal with. I don't need that on top of everything else. So that is it for this week. Come back next episode and I'll have seen another movie and maybe I'll have something more to say about Sea of Stars or another game. You never know. It's a mystery.